Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Emily. If you're not new here, welcome back. In today's video, if you haven't already noticed, we are already in September. I don't know how this year is going by so freaking fast, but I do have to say I've been reading some good books this year, and August is no exception. I read 13 books, right? 13? I just counted, I already forgot. 14, not me selling myself short, 14 books in August. My, sweet spot of books is about 6 books a month. So the fact that I read 14 books this month is absolutely wild. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let me tell you my ratings, what I thought. Yeah. Starting off strong is Gravity by Sarah Kate. I picked this one on a whim, never heard one little peep about it, but when I read the back, it was giving Credence. Credence by Penelope Douglas, and I loved that book, surprisingly. So I was so intrigued to pick this one up, and it did not disappoint. It starts off by Zara and her twin sister and her boyfriend passing away. So Zara goes through the ringer, and a few years later, she is currently a scripper. So the last person that she really expects to show up at her place of work is her dead sister's boyfriend's dad, Alistair Wilde, and he gives her a proposition that she cannot refuse, okay? He tells her that I will pay you X amount of money for you to live with us on our private island for 3 months and basically date my son, the other brother. And backstory, she's always been in love with him, but he's never given her the time of day. So the fact that he's like, here's some money, date my son, is like, girl, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for my moment. She moves onto this island and basically starts fake dating or like pretend dating his son, but little does she know, Mr. Daddy-O here is also into her. So she has a little relationship with the dad and the son. I've been waiting for this one. Turn it up. It's so good. Definitely giving you need to go see a therapist, because what in God's name are you into? But listen, don't knock it till you try it, because guess what? Miss Girl here, 5 stars. 5 stars off the bat. If you liked Credence, you will eat this one up because it has the same ending. She chooses one person. Obviously it's a spoiler, I'm not gonna tell you, but the person that she doesn't choose at the end gets the next book. So the next book, it's a duet, there is a second book where you can get the love story of that person, but obviously don't look up who she's gonna choose because it's a spoiler. So yeah, Gravity by Sarah Kate, so underrated. I don't know why no one is ever talking about this book, because this was a ride. I wanna ride, wanna ride. Okay. Next. Then I listened to the audiobooks, the Miles High Club by T.L. Swan. So the first book is The Stopover. It is workplace romance. Basically they have a one-night stand, and maybe I think like a year goes by, and she starts up at his company, and he's the big boss, like the CEO, whatever. And they have a little secret relationship. And fun fact, the FMC is named Emily, and I have never read a book with my name used as the FMC, so that was a fun time. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. The banter that they give is just very toxic in my opinion. So this one I gave 4 stars. I still feel like it was a fun time, but there was just little things that I just didn't love about it. Then came The Takeover, which is book 2, Tristan. Bye. This one was so good. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. So again, I loved the storyline of it. Kind of like enemies to lovers. Like I would say more so rivals to lovers. She's a single mom of 4 boys. Is it 4 boys or 3 or 4 kids? And her husband tragically had passed away. So she takes over her husband's company, but it is basically plummeting. Like she's not bringing in any money. She's going into debt. Like it's not going good. But but she refuses to give up her husband's legacy. Here comes in Tristan, which is the brother of the first book, and he is trying to buy out her company and take it over. So that's where the rivals come in, because she's obviously not wanting to sell her company. So it is single mom, rivals to lovers. I like the story so much more. I loved the character so much more. I felt like there was actually like something going on to keep you reading, if that makes sense. I felt like Stopover was mostly just them fighting all the time and then making up, and then it would just repeat. So, I mean, if you're into that, go crazy. But I need to finish the rest of the series because I am interested to keep going. But so far, The Takeover was my favorite. I love billionaire men. Who doesn't love rich men? So then I really got into the Summer I Turned Pretty series, the TV show, and I was all about it. I finished the second season and I was like, no way I cannot go another year with not knowing what's gonna happen. So lo and behold, I read the books, and this is gonna be a hot take. I think the show is better. The acting is very questionable. I just think it's a lot more entertaining to watch it than read it. I think if I was younger and in high school, I would have eaten these books up. But considering the books that I do currently read and then getting into this, it was very just like vanilla. There are no stalkers in this. There is no enemies to lovers in this. There is no mafia in this. Again, I think if you're younger and in high school and you're looking for a fun little series, this is the way to go. I really enjoyed the audiobooks more because the actress Lola Tung is who is reading the book in audio, is the spokesperson. Jeremiah, the guy who plays Jeremiah, Gavin something, he's one of the readers. And then Mr. Conrad himself, Mr. Mans, who plays Conrad, is also another voice. So it's actually really fun to listen to them because it's like you're watching the show. First one is The Summer I Turned Pretty, obviously. Second book is It's Not Summer Without You and We'll Always Have Summer. The first two books I felt like were really dragging. Like I wasn't a huge, ginormous fan of them. Again, I really enjoyed watching the season more. But when we got to book 3, I felt like there was actually something going on and like very much, holy crap, what the hell is happening? It's very fast paced and has a lot going on in it. So you're very intrigued and cannot put the book down because you're dying to know how it's gonna end. However, there is always something that goes wrong. Everything went south in the last like 20 pages of the book. So the ending was so rushed. I was like, there's no way, like how is everything falling apart and the book ends in 15 pages? Like, how is this gonna end? Like it was just so anticlimactic for no reason, and this could have happened way before the ending, so it was just very dragged out. So my opinions changed once I finished it. The ending was really sweet, so I'm so excited for season 3. I just know, if you know, you know. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to spoil it, but if you know, you know. Give the whole series 3 stars. Next up is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Holy crap, this took me by surprise. I don't know what I was expecting, but the fact that this is her first book ever published, this was incredible. The writing, like I would not change one thing about it. This is brother's best friend. It's a cowboy romance, country, small town. It's so much fun. Luke Brooks comes from like a family on the other side of the tracks. So he very much feels raised by her family because he becomes best friends with her older brother. He's always around and she basically grew up with Luke. So it's very much like childhood. I don't want to say friends to lovers because they weren't necessarily friends. They just found each other very annoying. So they weren't enemies, but they were just like acquaintances. Like, yeah, that's the dude that's friends with my brother, whatever. But then she goes on tour being a writer and then she gets hurt. She comes back home. She sees him. Holy crap, he got hot. He's like, holy crap, she got hot. What's going on? And the banter and the tension, it's there. The way that this man is so in love and obsessed with her is insane. It's going to be an interconnected series, so I'm so excited to read the rest of the character stories and kind of get a glimpse on how they progress as a couple. The spice there, the plot is there, 5 bajillion stars. This was incredible. Even the cover is gorgeous. Like, it's like, It's so much fun. I'm obsessed. Next up is The Tease by Lauren Blakely. If you know anything about me, forbidden romance is one of my top 3 romance tropes. And this one did not disappoint. This is dad's best friend trope. The beginning had me kicking, squealing, smiling. It was a roller coaster. It was so much fun. Just listen to this. I swear I'm a good girl. I didn't go to the exclusive after-hours masquerade to kiss my dad's best friend. I didn't even know who the masked man was when he touched me like I was his every fantasy. But when I learn exactly how off limits my new lover is, I do my best to avoid him the next time. Except he has his sinful sights set on me. Even when he discovers who I am, just one time, he whispers, then we'll pretend this never happened. Just a moment of silence, please. Dad's best friend, forbidden romance. He's a single dad, age gap. The Tease was so good. I wish there was one little thing that I would tweak about it, and I wish that it was more sneaking and hiding around. I think that's what's so much fun about a forbidden romance, is like this, like being scared that they're gonna get caught and kind of the repercussions of that, and there was none. Nonetheless, it was so much fun. I read it so quickly, and one thing about me is I'm a huge Phantom of the Opera fan, and at this masquerade ball, he dresses up as Phantom, and I was done. I was sold. You don't have to worry about me, honey. You do not have to worry about me. Amazing. 4 out of 5 stars. So after reading The Tease, I was really obsessed with how that one went, so I was dying to read Lauren Blakely's other work. I read The Virgin Next Door. This one I just wasn't a huge fan of. I think it was very cheesy and very cringy at some points. The idea was there. Pretty much she is a closeted sex writer, whatever. She does an article for a magazine that is anonymous, and she calls herself the Virgin Next Door. She talks about a man that she runs into, and that he's like a part of her sexual dreams and whatever. Like, he is the main inspiration for this blog post. Little does she know that he ends up becoming her boss. So it is workplace romance. She's also obviously a virgin, and so the possibility was there, like the intent was there. In my opinion, the writing was just a little bit cheesy. The interactions were a little bit cheesy. I was very like cringy. Wasn't my vibe. I gave this one 2 stars. Next one was Most Valuable Playboy. Again, the writing was just too cheesy, and the whole book was written in the male's point of view. No. Just no. He is a professional football player, and every year they have a charity event where they can bid on the football players for charity, and they take them out on a date, the whole thing. However, when MMC is up, he actually has like a crazed fan who is obsessed with him, and she tries to bid on him. However, Violet, who is the FMC, who is also the MMC's best friend's little sister, she sees kind of the panic in his eyes and that this girl is like kind of crazy. She ends up putting a bid on him, and she wins. At the end, a bunch of reporters are asking like, oh my gosh, like how romantic, are you guys dating, blah, blah, blah. So they take that opportunity to start a fake dating relationship. So it's media and best friend's little sister kind of trope, fake dating. So it is a lot of fun, but I just really wasn't a huge fan of the fact that it was 100% start to finish written in the male's point of view. You never even get a snippet of her point of view. And also the fake dating, everyone knows about it except the media, like all of their close friends and family. So I was also not really a fan of that, because I feel like that's the fun of fake dating, is the fact that no one knows about it and it's a secret. So yeah, so I gave this one 2 stars. Wasn't a vibe for me. But this is Future Emily. As I'm editing this video, I realized that my camera had died and it cut out 2 of the books that I was talking about. So we're gonna do a little intermission here, and I'm gonna talk about these books really quickly. The first one is Don't Let Me Down by Kelsey Ray. I received the ARC of this, and oh my gosh, if you guys know me, you know that I am absolutely obsessed with the Don't Let Me series. It is a interconnected series. It takes place in college. It's a hockey romance. Like, it's so much fun. Don't Let Me Down is the fifth and final book in this series, so I'm a little upset, but the way it ended was exactly what I was expecting. Just perfection, just straight perfection. This is Maya's story. If you read the series in order, you kind of have like a little backstory about her. She comes from like the wrong side of the tracks, like she struggles a lot. And in the beginning of the series, she is involved with one of the hockey players who is very abusive to her. So you kind of get that backstory there. And now at her book, they are broken up. She was doing OnlyFans at the time, trying to make extra money, and her toxic ex-boyfriend basically outing her as on OnlyFans, and people have been stalking her. Like, it's just been nuts. So in comes in Henry Buchanan. He is the owner of the college hockey team, and it's an enemies to lovers romance, so they cannot stand each other, but he kind of has like a soft spot for her and wants to help her because, as mentioned, she's really struggling at the moment. So he offers her a job as a social media girly on the hockey team, so running the social media accounts. So it's an enemies to lovers romance, workplace. He's obviously the boss, and they end up being starting up a frenemies with benefits type of situation, and it's most definitely guy falls first, which I love so much. You can definitely tell that the only reason he's in this whole friends with benefits arrangement is so that way he can be with her, and you can tell he like takes it really slow, like really, you know, doesn't want to scare her off because she's like sworn off relationships. She feels like she has terrible taste in men, until he comes along. So this one, I love this one. I think this one was my favorite in the series. Every single book I absolutely adored, but this one I was staying up past midnight. I was just like so engrossed in this story, and now that it's over, I'm a little bit in denial, but that's fine. That's what we love in a good book. So 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely highly recommend this series. It's one of my top series ever. You won't regret it. Last book I read is The Patriot by Jennifer Milliken. This is the Hayden series, the Hayden family series, I think it's called. There are 4 books in this series, so this is the first one. It's a little bit slow in the beginning, but once you get into the actual plot of it, it starts to kind of pick up the pace. But it's very easygoing. So it's a small town country romance. So it starts off by the FMC and the MMC. They meet at a party, and they have like a one-night stand type of situation, but before she even wakes up, he bolts out the door. He is a veteran, so at this night he had just come home from his deployment, and he had really opened up to the female main character about like the things that he saw, so it kind of spooked him a little bit. So they have their little moment, and then in the morning he dips. They don't see each other for 5 years. Fast forward 5 years later, Wes is the MMC. His family is selling a portion of their land for money, and her family is basically the family company that's looking to buy the land. She gets assigned to run the renovations, everything like that. So obviously they run into each other again 5 years later. But another plot twist. This isn't a spoiler, but Hayden family kind of like contract is very old, and in order for Wes to inherit his family's ranch, which he's always wanted to have, he needs to be married, but he is most definitely not. So he proposes an idea to Dakota, basically saying, you know, marry me for a year so I can inherit my family's land. You will get something out of this arrangement. And yeah, so they agree to fake, it's a marriage of convenience, second chance, marriage of convenience. It's also the nightmare trope, forced proximity. It's got a lot of really fun tropes, small town. It's a really fun time. This is my first Jennifer Milliken book, and I'm really excited to read the rest of the series. But as I mentioned, it's a little bit slow in the beginning, so once you get past that part, it gets pretty good. So for this series, or for this book specifically, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But I hope you guys enjoyed my August reading wrap up. I'm telling you guys, I usually do not read this many books in a month, so it was definitely a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your guys' favorite read was in August in the comments below, and let me know if you have any video recommendations that you would like to see from me, and I will talk to you guys later. Have the best day ever.